Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hamish Muiry. I work in the commercial team at M2A Media. Delighted to have Carolina Santos, Head of Broadcast Operations and Engineering at ATP Media. We're going to talk through some of the work we've been doing since the beginning of the season. We're all here today. It was great to hear the last panel. We're slightly further back in the chain from them, but it's great that we're all here to ultimately optimize the sports video experience for the end consumer. The particular part of the segment that we sit in is in helping broadcasters to connect with their rights owners, sports rights owners in public cloud. We're going to talk a little bit about that, but if you're in this space, you may notice there's a growing number of what I would term ancillary feeds. So you have your international feeds right now going up over satellites, and rights owners are beginning to add value to their packages by creating, adding court feeds in the tennis world, onboard cameras in the motorsports world, multi-angle cameras in football, and all of this content needs to be aggregated, acquired, and then used in services further down the chain. So if you're a sports rights owner, how are you going to distribute that content effectively to your takers? If you're a broadcaster or a partner working with a broadcaster as an OTT head-end service, as a cloud playout service, as a cloud production service, how are you going to manage the acquisition of these streams? Now, it's M2A's long-held belief that the AWS network topology and media services offers a great way to deliver content in the cloud. But if you want to do it at scale, if you want to do it cost effectively, and you want to do it, most importantly, sustainably, then you need to have automation. And that's where M2A come in. We build software products to deliver software schedule-driven automation of the AWS network. So Carolina is going to take us through the challenge that her and her operations team had, and also talk to the solutions that M2A are helping with.
Thank you, Hamish. So I guess the initial challenge we had was primarily to service our OTT product, which is tennis TV. So we were presented with the challenge of having to deliver our broadcast feeds to a new supplier for our tennis TV product. But alongside that, we'd had ongoing conversations with broadcasters where they'd expressed an interest in potentially receiving feeds in AWS. And throughout all of that, we thought that rather than having multiple workflows in AWS, multiple instances, multiple resources, and ultimately costs adding up, we would aggregate all of that under one platform. So contribute once and distribute multiple times, whether that was to partners or service providers. Now, obviously, managing all that infrastructure in AWS comes with its own set of challenges. We really didn't want for that to take on operational overhead within our team because we're quite a lean organization. Equally, the scheduling piece is enormous. We have almost 60 tournaments, as you saw. We have very long hours. We have events all over the world. So finding a solution that relied heavily on automation was really key to make this a success. We really wanted as well to work with a company that had a strong operations team, an agile operations team, and that would allow us to expand quickly. So if we needed to add an extra feed or if we needed to add an extra entitlement, that could be done quite quickly. So the solution, Hamish, next slide, there we go. The solution was to put together something within the M2A Connect product. So we use that to schedule all of our events, again using automation. We were able to take control of that infrastructure within AWS, so it's only being turned on when there's an event going on, and immediately after that it comes down. So we're able to manage our costs quite efficiently rather than having permanent infrastructure turned on. So again, the way that M2A have helped us with this is that on top of the automation, their operations team keeps an eye on things like scoring and any last-minute changes, such as rain delays, which means that the event has to be extended, or a match might move courts. So they've helped us really come up with a solution that doesn't put the operational overhead on us.
Yeah, I think we've got a very short demonstration of the M2A Connect console. So as well as this schedule-driven automation of the underlying AWS infrastructure, we recognized it was really important to put the tooling in the hands of operators as distinct from broadcast engineers and cloud experts, because that's a sort of a skill set that's actually quite rare in this industry. So by enabling the operators, giving them the tools, everything from being able to set up events, to manage them, to make sure that here we're seeing the routes page, contribution sources coming in the middle, perhaps some form of transformation and code step that's happening, and then ultimately to hand them off on the right to destinations, typically ARQ protocols, so SRT is popular, also Media Connect entitlements as well. So what's next?
Well, one of the big things we've been talking about over the last few months as we've grown the platform and as we've seen its stability is to open this out to our broadcasters as an extra layer of distribution. For us, it's really important to get as much of our content out there in any way we can. So if you can make it as easy as possible to get to the end user, then that's fantastic. So it is one of the things that we definitely want to do in coming months.
Yeah, and to the middle point on product innovations, the great thing about doing all this in software is that we can move really quickly. When a customer comes up with great ideas, we can build those into the product, into the workflows. I'd call out another new feature that we've added, which is baked into the Connect product, which is live capture. So this creates archives the raw transport stream. And then you've got downstream options for what you want to do with that archive asset, creating VOD assets from it as well, and also gives you options for delayed playout and things like that.
I think something else we've looked at within the M2A Connect product family is to potentially take advantage of the motion compensated frame rate conversion. We think that this could be a real value add, whether it's for some of our downstream suppliers, or even when we do eventually open this out to our broadcasters for additional distribution. We think it could be really, really interesting to be able to offer a more bespoke feed. So at the moment, all of our events are produced natively, which means that it might not always suit all broadcasters depending on the territory the event is taking place. So to be able to offer this type of conversion pre-distribution could be as well another value add of the product.
Great. And with that, that's all from us. Hopefully that was a nice little interlude between the longer sessions. So thank you for your attention. Thanks also to SVG for giving us the time today, and for working with our head of marketing, Lizzie, on the slides. Thanks to Carolina, of course. And if you'd like to find out more about the products, we have a tabletop upstairs. Our head of product, Simon Harrison, is here as well, and happy to talk through more technical detail. Thank you.
Thank you.